If I only had 90 days to monetize my Faceless YouTube channel, here's exactly what I would do. So we're going to talk about going from having a new channel, 0 subs, to getting that beautiful notification that you have now been accepted into the YouTube Partner Program, and you can start to collect that sweet ad revenue from YouTube. So what we're going to talk about are the 3 different phases of this journey over the 90 days to get your channel monetized. So phase 1, foundation phase. You're going to select your niche and you're going to be identifying your production approach within your first few days. We want to get things rolling as soon as possible. Next, data collection. You're going to start uploading videos within the first week, and you're going to start to gather data as what's working, what's not working. You're going to be testing out different package strategies to be able to see what attracts the most attention from viewers in your market. And then once you have a good amount of data from your first 45 days or so of uploading, you're then going to optimize things and you're going to start scaling up your production. So let's talk about each and every one of these phases so you know exactly what to do. So phase 1, foundation, what you're going to do is pick your niche, pick a production approach in your first few days. So rules of this phase are going to be as follows. Number 1, you need to validate the demand of your niche. You don't want to be picking a low demand niche because then there's not enough attention in the market. You're not going to get monetized in 90 days. You must also select your niche within 72 hours of starting your journey. So if you push this off way too long, you're burning those 90 days and we can't afford that. So picking your niche is going to be as follows. You're going to be using TubeLab to do that, okay? It costs $30 per month. You can afford it, and it's going to get you the niche that is going to work for you. So we're going to filter to find niches, okay? We want niches that, let's say, are cropping up in the last 6 months. We're going to filter for English that are making, let's say, $4,000 a month. 4,000. And then we are going to make sure that it's faceless and show results, okay? So this is how you're going to find a niche for your channel. And so you're going to start to scroll through different options. One of the things you can do is search for all results, but you can also use a quality filter if you're getting a lot of low quality results. I usually do general, and so you usually get some better resulting channels that are a little bit higher quality. And so you're going to start scrolling through these different channels to see which ones could be applicable to you, okay? So you also want to validate if stuff's interesting to you, because I don't want you starting a channel that's not interesting. So maybe we'll pick something like this, UK Food Truth, right? So looking at different foods to buy and not to buy, which ones are good for you, bad for you, etc. We want to validate that there is high profitability or high RPM and high demand, like I said. So if you have these different insights and factors in your favor, you can move forward with this type of niche. Great. We've just picked a niche together in 30 seconds, which means that you should not take more than a few days to do this. If you want to sign up for TubeLab, click the link in this video's description. Now, moving on to the next part of the process is going to be picking a format for your videos. And you really want to pick a format that's going to be conducive to either outsourcing or the use of AI. So if you're doing something picture-based, you're going to want to use TubeGen. You just enter in the topic of the video. It'll script, voice, create your images, and you just compile it together with CapCut or any editor tool. If you want full YouTube automation, you can use VidRush to create your videos. It's going to basically be focused on third-party footage, stuff like this. Or alternatively, it's going to work for the channel I just showed you. So if we open up this channel right here, you're going to see that this is a lot of third-party footage of showing the actual foods. So you can easily make a channel like this with VidRush. So if you take a look right here, you're going to be able to see that videos with real footage is going to be VidRush. It'll do everything from script, voice, edit, and give you a thumbnail. So you literally just have to pick the topics for the videos. Or you could do something a different style like Video Scribe, or you can use any of the new formats that are taking place on Faceless YouTube right now. Probably will be a little bit more expensive, but you need to pick what format you want and make sure it applies to the niche that you're pursuing. So clearly doing something where it's whiteboard or doing something animated images doesn't make sense for a niche like this because you need to actually show the products. So using something like a VidRush would be most applicable. Okay, so that's that step of the process down. Once you have the production approach and the niche, we're going to move on to the next part, which is going to be a data collection now. So this is where you're going to start uploading videos, and the purpose of this is to start getting some views, but more importantly, start collecting data on what's working and what's not. So this is going to be your next, month and a half of time. So the rules of phase 2, no niche hopping. So I've seen a lot of people, they start their Faceless YouTube journey, they upload 5 videos, they don't get a ton of traction, they think to themselves, oh, I must have just selected a poor niche. We just did the validation. We can see channels doing well in the niche. If you're struggling, it's not the niche, it's you. Okay, I hate to say this, but all my one-on-one students, they know that I'm pretty direct and to the point, and that's why they get results, because I just tell them what they need, not what they want to hear. So don't switch niches if you validated it properly, because you're just slowing down your journey. And you need to upload at least 1 video per week so we can start collecting data. So within this testing phase, you're going to be uploading 1 to 2 videos per week, and you want to be doing testing on the thumbnail A/B testing feature, okay? Titles is they're a very important aspect of YouTube, but what I've noticed is that people struggle more with thumbnail design than title selection. So doing A/B testing on your thumbnails is going to show you which design styles are going to work in the future for your channel. And so once you start to find consistent winning styles, that's what you want to double down on. Now, you may be sitting there thinking to yourself, okay, Adam, I want to be able to make high quality thumbnails like you say. I want to get faster results, but I have no idea how to make thumbnails. And I'll just be honest with you, this is where most people I work with struggle the most. And if you are interested in us doing this together, you click the link in this video's description to apply. But it's just so much easier if you leverage AI. It's going to make your thumbnails faster, and it's also going to make them at a higher quality than you could in a fraction of the time that you could if you were doing it yourself. So personally, the one that I use, and I always just recommend in these videos the tools I personally use myself, because if I wouldn't pay for them and use them, I wouldn't expect you to do the same either, right? So I use the 1 of 10 thumbnail generator. So let me just give you an example of how this would work. So let's say we liked the thumbnail designs on this channel. So what we could do is we could just enter in this channel name. And then let's say we were in creating a similar channel. Maybe you're doing it about Canadian food or American food or whatever the case, right? So let's say we have let's say we want to do something like this. This is pretty cool. Okay, but we're running a channel about American foods instead. So what we could do is we could pick our channel, and then we can go American chicken soup brands to avoid and 4 that are safe. And we'll just create 2 thumbnails. You can pick between either the higher quality generator or the cheaper and faster one. So let's do Gen 2. Let's splurge here, and let's get 2 thumbnails out. Again, the time it takes is near the same, but it is fast either way, especially compared to having to make the thumbnails yourself, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to use this thumbnail generator tool to create thumbnails for your videos. And so we're going to give this a few seconds here, and we're going to be able to see what the output is, okay? And so like I said, with thumbnail testing, you want to be uploading at least 2 or 3 thumbnails for your video, ideally 3. So rather than having to design individual ones, you can just use tools like this to create them. So now we have 2 thumbnails. If you're like, hey, these are great, fantastic, you can use these, they're already high quality. Or if you want, you can generate some more if you're not happy with them, so on and so forth, okay? If you do want to test out this tool and you want to try this for just $1 for 30 days and create a whole bunch of thumbnails, you can access it by hitting the link in this video's description. So on that, now you know how to create thumbnails for your videos, but the journey is not done yet, because now we're moving on to scaling, okay? So scaling is going to be where you're going to start to take all that data, make better decisions with that information to then start to get exponential growth on your channel. So what does this mean? Okay, so rules of phase 3, we want to double down on winning topics. So once you've uploaded a dozen videos on your channel, you should have enough data to see what topics are working, what packaging is working. So let's say this is your channel. Here there's 21 videos, let's say. So let's see what's working best. All right, so here we have, we have basically common foods tend to be working well, and we have listicle videos and investigation videos working best. So that's what we would probably want to focus on, right? Whereas things like calling out specific products is maybe not working as well as these other options. So now we have some data to work with, right? And conduct more strategic testing. So no one's going to tell you this, but I will, and I'll share this with you in a sec. Yes, it's pretty obvious you want to just double down on videos that are getting more views than not, but you want to iterate on your winners, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do this with Claude because people like Claude. So I'm going to share with you the strategy that I used with Yan to scale his channel past 10K per month. Maybe you've seen this Faceless YouTube channel before, but that's what we worked on. So I'm going to share with you how you can emulate a style of ideation to help you scale your own channel. Okay, so if we take a look at this, here's a strategy that you can copy. So let's say we were scaling up his channel right now in real time. So what you can do is the following. All you need to do is go to the channel that you want to, you're building, right? So let's say we opened up this channel. We would just take a screenshot of the most popular videos, a screenshot of the channel, the most popular videos, and we would enter it into Claude. And then what we tell Claude is, look at this channel, find the pattern on what works, give me 5 new topics. So what we can do if we scroll in, it's analyzing what's working, and it's going to give you a whole bunch of different topics, right? So $400 a month subscription trap no one talks about, what's the average 40-year-old has actually saved, who can actually afford to retire at 55, etc. So this is giving you new topics so you don't have to just guess, right? The more we guess, the more likelihood that we're not going to have videos that perform, and that's going to slow down our ability to get monetized in 90 days. So this is really taking the onus off you to have to come up with those topics and still allow you to get the results that you want, okay? Now, no one shares this with you, but this is an advanced strategy that if you made it this far in the video, I want to reward you with. So iterating winning thumbnails now. So I talked about we want to upload 3 thumbnails per video, but no one tells you what to actually do with that. So my recommendation, and this is what I share with my private clients, but I'll let you in on a little secret here, is as you start to upload videos, so let's say upload 1, 2, 3, 4, or 12, 13, 14, 15, is once you know what thumbnail designs are working well because you've been testing regular styles. So let's say your first 5 videos, you have 3 different thumbnails on each. If you see that there's a consistent style that's working well, for example, on this channel, we can see that this kind of like labeled style of fake and real, worst and best, if that's working, continue to make 1 of those for every video that you release, okay? And you do that because you want one that's gonna guarantee you're gonna get some good results. But then you wanna test 2 new thumbnails for the other 2 tests, right? So you can do something that looks like this, or that looks like this. And the reason you do this is very simple. If you have one that's going to consistently get you views, you want to see if anything can do better that then you could replace that winner with, and you keep testing to see if you can continually optimize your packaging, because that's ultimately going to get you the majority of your viewership, because when people are enticed from the packaging, they're going to be more likely to click. So for every video that you release, you're going to use 1 winner and 2 new. 1 winner, 2 new, 1 winner, 2 new. And that's going to allow you to see what's working, what's not. And if you're like, wow, that's a lot of thumbnails, 3 per video. Well, I just showed you how you can create them in under 60 seconds. And like I said, you can start testing this out for just $1 with the link in this video's description. So there's no excuses why you can't do it. And if you want to learn how to make your first $10,000 with YouTube automation and how I would do it from scratch, click on this next video.